Good morning. I'm Varun Iyer from Godu University. So today we will be talking about one important topic which I feel I must address, because I have seen that many students and many parents, they have been sending us inquiries through the social media pages and through the emails and messages. And the uh, topic we will be talking about today will be top choices for the students, uh, which is trending nowadays, like which are the countries and which are the courses you must apply for. So we will talk about that, and I will be talking about the major aspects to apply to those countries like for example USA, then Canada, then UK, then Ireland, Germany. So these are the top trending countries, and these are the preferred choices of the students nowadays. And why they are preferred for the students, globally, there are few reasons for that. It's because of the flexibility and support which is offered by these countries to the students. And we have already we have seen that, due to the pandemic and COVID situation, many of the students, they were not able to apply for their higher education. They faced a lot of difficulty. Their applications got delayed. They were not able to enroll in the universities, be it India or be it out of India, due to the challenges were there. And now, because we can say that we are in a stable situation, so most of the countries, they are supporting international students globally to come forward and to help them achieve their goal and dream to study abroad. Yep. So if we talk about what are the countries which is in demand and what are the countries which is preferred by international students, so as per the statistics and as per the survey and inquiries we get, as an admission consultant, we have narrowed down few countries. So I would say that USA is still top country for international students to go abroad. After that, there is Canada. Then I would say UK. UK, why? Because after the Brexit, UK government have announced 2 years of post-study work visa, and UK has always been a place where there are wide range of courses are available. Apart from that, Australia is picking up very well for the students. We all know, due to the pandemic, Australia had closed their doors for the international students, and hopefully from coming 15th of December 2021, the doors will open for the international students, wherein you can go on campus and you can achieve your goal to study abroad in the global universities. So Australia is one of them. I would also say that Ireland and Germany, which is a part of Europe, is also kind of very, very famous among international students due to the own benefits they offer. For example, many of the students, they might know or they might not know that Germany is one of the places where you can actually study for free. So when it comes to a tuition cost, it is free in Germany. So many public state universities, so there are over 100 universities in Germany which offer tuition free system. You heard me right, that bachelor's and master's program in Germany, you can go and you can study for free. And those universities are called state universities, and they are actually sponsored by the government of the respective state, and they are run by the taxes paid by the European and citizens of that particular country. So I have worked with many candidates in the past who have been to the universities in Germany, like TU Berlin, TU Munich, Beirut University, and there are many more who offer tuition free system education, right? In terms of Ireland, again, Ireland is one of the place where there are many IT and business programs are there. We all know that Dublin is the capital of Ireland, and it offers lot of ICT kind of programs, and it is the Silicon Valley of Europe. So these factors make all these countries preferred choice and one of the place where one can go. Now the countries which I mentioned, which is USA, Canada, UK, Ireland and Germany. So why these countries are preferred and why these countries are like popular nowadays among students. So let's talk about each and aspects, let's talk about each component. So the first reason for the students to go to these countries, I would say the globally recognized qualification. So these are English speaking countries except Germany, because most of the people there speaks German language. Although having said that, all these countries, their educational qualification is accepted globally. It is recognized and respected worldwide. And even if you come back to India or to your home country, wherever you stay, you will still be able to get a good jobs with the higher pay scale in the top multinational companies, right? So one of the reason is globally accepted qualification, which you can get. Along with that, you can also get the experience of global culture, because when you go and when you work, when you study in the overseas universities, you get to learn a lot. You are able to get the internships, you are able to get the semester abroad. What is semester abroad? Semester abroad means, for example, if you go for your bachelor's degree, which is for 3 years or 4 years, let's say in USA it's for 4 years. So maybe one semester your university will ask you to go to Australia and get that experience, right? So that is called semester abroad. So these kind of opportunities you get. You also get to do capstone projects, which is, we can also call it like an internship. But there is a difference between internship and capstone projects. In internships, you do not earn any money, right? It's just a learning experience. But when we say capstone projects, so those are the projects wherein you actually work and you learn, and alongside you also earn. And these kind of programs are available in the countries like UK. It is available in the countries like Canada, which is also known as co-op program. So this is another reason. Apart from that, another reason is scholarships. So there are many universities who are very flexible and they offer lots of scholarships. We have seen this year that we have had a couple of students who went to USA in the top schools and they received scholarship up to $60,000, $50,000. We have seen students going to in countries like Australia. I had one student recently who got $10,000 of scholarship going to RMIT in Australia. I had another student who went to Ireland, which is in NUI Galway, National University of Ireland, and got 7,000 euros of scholarship, which is worth of 6 lakh rupees, we can say. So it's a huge amount for any individual. So scholarship is one thing. Apart from that, stay back opportunities. So what is stay back opportunities? It means that the money which you are investing in your education when you go to USA or Australia, wherever, so you have an option to stay back there. Once you complete your course, you can stay back for 2 years or 3 years, depending upon the rules regulated by those immigration policies and by those countries. So you can stay there and you can gain the full-time international work experience, so which is a benefit. And you also get an option to get the return of investment, right? For example, if you go to Ireland, so in Ireland your return of investment is estimated to be 2.5 years, which means if you complete your education of masters or bachelors in Ireland, you will be able to recover the entire your tuition fees and living cost within like 2.5 years. Just like that, if you go to USA, the return of investment is estimated to be 1.5 years, which means if you finish your bachelor's or master's, you are most likely to earn back the same amount of money, within the 1.5 years or maximum 2 years span of time, which is kind of great. Yep. Apart from that, there is another thing is like high placement ratio. So since you are going for the international qualification and you get to learn in the multicultural environment, so there's a huge opportunity for you. Most of the overseas universities in all these countries, they conduct the career fairs once or twice a year, wherein you get to meet the employers and you exchange the ideas. You get to learn about the new job opportunities which is upcoming, so you can be ready for those. You get to meet companies like Google or maybe Yahoo or HP or Facebook or LinkedIn, and banking companies, investment companies. So it helps you to understand the actual job market. Another thing which I personally like about the overseas universities is that many lecturers and professors who come to teach, they actually are expert from their own domain. So it's not that they are just the academic teachers. For example, if you're going for an MBA program or maybe for a master's program or a bachelor's program in business, you might see that your lectures are being frequently taken by a person who is already working in a business domain from like 10 years, 15 years, who is already a pioneer in their field. So they talk about the real time experiences. So the kind of learning which you get, it's kind of great. Then apart from that, the another benefit, additional benefit which I feel is inviting your family members. Now most of these countries which I mentioned, in some of them there is an option for you to go for your studies, and you can also take your family along with you, which means if you are married, you can also take your spouse. If you have children, you can take your children along with you. Your children can also get the free education. Like for example, if you go to UK, or if you go to Canada, if you go to Australia, there is an option wherein your child can get the tertiary education, the high school education for free of cost. Your spouse can get the dependent visa, and that too with the full-time work rights. Although it changes country wise, I mean it depends like what are the policies. You have to check for the policies and then apply for the same. But again, I mean this is the flexibility you have, right? So so this is what I wanted to talk about today. And in case if you have any queries, or if you want to know more about your profile, if you want to have a discussion, another question which just came in my mind is that about gap. Many students, many people think that having an educational gap, it's an issue. I mean, if you have a gap, can you study or not? So I can say that if you have an educational gap, you can surely go for your higher education. It's pretty much possible. For example, I had one candidate, and I helped this gentleman whose age was 41, right? And he was a chartered accountant, and I'm talking about last year. So I met this gentleman in New Delhi, and he was working as a chartered accountant. He worked with like multinational companies like Deloitte, KPMG, and many more consulting companies. And then he came to me, and then he said like he is planning to learn, and he wants to improve his skills. And we worked on his application, and I helped him for Masters of Finance program. Although he did his BCom, he did his CA, he worked for over a decade, I would say 15-16 years of work experience. But he got into one of the government college in Ireland, which is National College of Ireland, for Master of Finance. Not only he got the admission, but he also got the visa. Recently I have another candidate whose age is like 37, and she is going to Canada for master's program to study education, like MEd program. So I would say that if your profile is not strong, if you have a gap, so there is nothing to worry about it. It just we have to see that how we can represent your application. But you should not have an idle gap. I mean, you should be working and involved in certain activities. So that's one thing. And let's see if we have any questions coming in. All right. So someone has asked me. Okay. So Geeta has asked me that I am 38 and a software engineer. What are my options to settle abroad? So Geeta, as I just mentioned a while back, so I think your question came for the same thing. So as I mentioned a while back that if your age is 38 and if you are a software engineer, in terms of your options, if I talk about, so I can sense that you are from the IT background. I can suggest that you could apply for the countries to go for your master's program in Ireland, which is one of the best place. You can also try for USA, which is also a great destination to go for. We can also try for Canada. So these are some good countries for IT programs, computer science programs. But it would also matter that what sort of KRA you had in your company. I mean, what sort of job description you entail in your resume. What is your long-term goal? If your goal is to just go and get the education or come back, or your goal is to go study, work, or maybe probably settle down. So in that case, Canada will be an apt choice. Australia will be an apt choice, right? So I can definitely say that with your profile, you have a strong chance to apply overseas. There is another question who said that can I work while studying in USA? So John, yes, definitely you can work in USA while you go for your undergraduate or master's program, and you are allowed to work 20 hours per week inside the campus. So in USA, the policy is different. So when you go for your studies in USA, many people don't know about it, that if you are studying in campus, and if you work in campus, you don't need any additional permission. But if you work outside the campus, if you get any part-time job, so for that you have to apply for CPT, right, which is curricular practical training. And there is also OPT, which is optional practical training. So OPT is given to you in USA when you finish your education, and the OPT is given to you in USA up to 3 years. So like for example, how we can understand it, like if you go to USA for a STEM program, which is science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So for STEM programs in USA, you get 36 months of OPT, which is kind of a stay back to look for the jobs. If you go for any other non-STEM program like arts, sociology and all, then you only get for 12 months. So definitely you can work, and not only in USA, in other countries also you are allowed to work as a part-time student every week, 20 hours. So let's see if we have any other course. Okay, so Fatima has asked, is business management in demand? So Fatima, yes, definitely business management is a very generic degree. It has been always in a demand. But whenever I meet students and parents, generally I suggest them that do not look for any generic course, do not look for any generic program. I mean, when you are doing a course selection, you should go for a specific subject discipline. For example, what I mean is, like business management, it's a huge branch, right? Now under business management, you might see that there is a finance, there is an accounting, there is international business, there is business analytics, there are international business management, there are international finance, and many other programs, right? So you should go for a skilled based course, and not for the course which is based on the soft skill. Right, so just don't look for the business management. If you are looking for business management, probably look for some specialization like accounting or finance or something, which might help you to get a job in future and can also stable your career. Right. Okay, so someone has asked, Bhavna has asked, which country I can apply in less budget. So Bhavna, I mean, if you say less budget, I don't know how much budget do you have. However, having said that, I can say here that you can use your money strategically. For example, if we talk about master's courses, so in USA, Australia, Canada, generally the master's programs are for 2 years. But when we see that master's programs in Europe, like for example UK or maybe Ireland or Netherlands, Germany, these countries, they offer master's program in 1 year. So you can save that cost. If you go for 1 year of masters, the equivalency and recognition is same, so you can save your cost there. But generally, if you are looking for a low cost budget, then I would suggest you to look for the countries in the European region, because the cost is less there. But if you are going for English speaking countries, the cost is little on the higher side. Yeah. Okay, fine. So Ashi has asked, what are the possibilities of staying back? I think I've already mentioned that the possibilities of staying back are quite good, and most of the countries which I mentioned, for example in Germany, after completion of your program you get like 18 months of stay back. In USA you could get for up to 3 years. In Australia you can get stay back up to 3 years. In UK you can get stay back up to 2 years. In Ireland you can get stay back up to 2 years. So each country offers that opportunity to look for your jobs, right? So yep, so I would like to conclude here saying that all the best for your research, and also keep following our videos, subscribe our channel, and visit our website, gotouniversity.com. And if you have any questions, if you want to speak to our admission experts, we have been helping students from more than a decade. Every year we help around 300 plus students for their undergraduate and master admissions. We have had students joining the top schools like Stanford, MIT, University of Toronto, Waterloo, University of Sydney, Trinity College Dublin, you name it and we have it. So if you want to have your profile evaluation, if you want to speak to me, you can also call me. My number is listed on our website, and our email address is listed on our website. You can get in touch with us, and we will be more than happy to help you. All the best.